Most people never achieve their dreams, not because they don't have the talent or the resources, but because the moment things get hard, they quit. Here's the truth. If you want to win, you have to become unstoppable. You have to build a mindset that doesn't flinch when things go wrong, that doesn't cave when others doubt you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Not some fluffy, feel-good nonsense. Real, actionable steps that will help you create an unstoppable mindset. So if you're tired of stopping when things get tough, and you're ready to play the long game, listen up. Most people wait for motivation to hit them like a lightning bolt before they take action. They treat motivation like it's some rare commodity that only arrives when the stars align, when the mood is right, when they feel inspired. And when it doesn't show up, they do nothing, they wait, they make excuses, they postpone. But that's not how winners operate. Winners don't wait for motivation. They don't hinge their success on a fleeting emotion. They understand that discipline is the engine that drives long-term results, regardless of how they feel on any given day. Discipline is showing up when you're tired, when you're distracted, when you're bored. It's putting in the work when no one is watching and when no one is applauding. Motivation is like a spark. It can light a fire, but it doesn't keep it burning. What keeps the flame alive is discipline. It's the structure you build, the habits you adhere to, and the promises you keep to yourself. It doesn't matter if you feel like doing the work. What matters is that you do it anyway. Think about it this way. If you only acted when you felt motivated, you'd accomplish almost nothing of significance. Motivation is unpredictable. Some days it's strong, some days it's gone, but discipline doesn't care how you feel. It operates regardless of feelings, it operates regardless of circumstance, it operates regardless of weather, mood, or energy. Discipline operates on a deeper level, a level rooted in commitment. People confuse motivation with results because of the stories we tell ourselves. We watch movies or scroll through social media and see moments of inspired action. We assume that's how success works, one moment of motivation leading to a lifetime of glory. In reality, it's the countless moments when motivation is nowhere to be found that define a person's trajectory. Those moments matter more. The moments when you don't want to write another page, don't want to make another call, don't want to practice another drill, those moments are where discipline shines. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. It starts with a decision. You decide that regardless of how you feel, you will do the work. You set a standard for yourself, and then you honor it every single day. Not because it's convenient, not because it's easy, not because you're motivated, but because you gave your word. You said you'd do it, and you will. Even if no one else knows, you'll know. Even if no one else sees, you'll see. That's how you build trust with yourself. You stop breaking promises, stop making excuses, stop allowing feelings to dominate behavior. The more you honor your word to yourself, the stronger that internal discipline becomes. It evolves from a choice you have to force to a habit you no longer have to think about. Eventually, it becomes part of who you are. Discipline is also about accepting the reality that the best things in life are earned through struggle. The process of doing hard things when you don't want to do them is precisely what separates the average from the extraordinary. Motivation can help you get started, but it's discipline that keeps you going long after motivation has left. It's discipline that allows you to stand tall when obstacles arise, to stay on track when distractions multiply, and to keep moving forward when doubt threatens to pull you backward. The biggest victories don't come from moments of motivation, they come from countless moments of discipline, built one decision at a time. Most people are terrified of failure. They treat it like a dead end, like a mark of shame, like a sign that they're not good enough. The moment things don't go as planned, the moment an outcome doesn't match the picture in their head, they assume it means the end. They assume it means they weren't meant to win. But that's a lie. The truth is that failure is never the end. Failure is information, it's data, it's feedback, it's one of the best teachers you will ever have. If you want an unstoppable mindset, you have to reframe the way you view failure. You have to understand that every misstep contains a lesson, every setback contains a clue, every defeat contains a roadmap for doing it better next time. Failure doesn't kill dreams, quitting does. Failure doesn't destroy potential, ignoring its lessons does. The only people who lose forever are the people who treat failure like a death sentence instead of an opportunity. Think about how many times you learned to walk when you were a child. You fell down, you scraped your knees, you lost balance countless times, and every time you tried again, you didn't stop trying because you fell. You kept trying because falling was how you learned. The same applies to every area of life worth mastering. Nobody becomes an expert by doing things right the first time. Nobody builds strength by lifting only the weight they can already carry. The struggle is part of the process, and failure is part of the struggle. What separates people who win from people who stay stuck is how quickly they can detach their ego from the results. Most people make failure personal. They say, "I failed," and then twist it into "I am a failure." But these are not the same thing. Failing doesn't define you unless you make it define you. Failing means you tried, you acted, you put yourself out there. It means you have skin in the game. It means you're closer to understanding how to win than the person who never tried at all. The key is to slow down after a failure, dissect it, understand it. Ask the right questions. What went wrong? What can be adjusted? What can be eliminated? What can be improved? What can be done differently next time? Treat every misstep like a piece of evidence in an ongoing investigation. The more evidence you collect, the better your understanding becomes. The more you understand, the more precise your future efforts can be. The biggest wins in life are almost always built upon a mountain of small failures. The person who invents the best product has experimented with countless ideas that didn't work. The person who becomes a great speaker has stumbled over their words countless times before mastering their delivery. The person who finds deep fulfillment in their relationships has learned from moments where connections faltered. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the price you pay for it. To build an unstoppable mindset, you must adopt the belief that failure is not an enemy, it's an ally. It doesn't come to humiliate you or break you. It comes to educate you and refine you. The only way to truly fail is to give up, to walk away, to decide that a temporary setback is permanent. As long as you stay in the game, as long as you adjust and evolve, as long as you learn from every stumble, then every failure becomes a step forward. It becomes a piece of the path that leads precisely where you want to go. The way you speak to yourself is one of the biggest indicators of where you're headed in life. The words you say in moments of doubt, moments of struggle, moments when things don't go your way, those words matter more than you realize. Most people have no idea how much their internal dialogue shapes their external reality. They walk around repeating the same narratives in their head, reinforcing the same limitations, allowing the same thoughts to dominate their decisions. What you tell yourself becomes your belief. What you believe becomes your behavior. What you do every day becomes your life. Control yourself. Talk, because words have weight. The voice in your head can be your biggest ally or your worst enemy. It can build you up or tear you down. It can give you reasons to keep going or excuses to stop. The person who constantly tells themselves, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never be successful," or "I don't have what it takes," is planting seeds of defeat every single day. Those seeds grow into hesitation, doubt, and fear. They grow into a reluctance to try, to risk, to step out of a comfort zone. And over time, that person doesn't even have to consciously decide to give up their self. AWK has already decided for them. But when you shift the language you use with yourself, when you deliberately rewrite the script, the results can be profound. This doesn't mean repeating meaningless affirmations. It means choosing words rooted in truth, resilience, and possibility. It means replacing I can't with I can learn. It means replacing this is too hard with I can get better if I keep going. It means replacing I'm a failure with I failed, and I can use this to adjust, to grow, to win next time. The language you use internally becomes a filter for how you perceive every challenge. Someone who speaks defeat to themselves will spot every reason why something won't work, every hint that it's too hard, every piece of evidence that supports their doubt. Someone who speaks possibility to themselves will spot every opportunity for growth, every lesson in a setback, every reason why trying again is worth it. The words you use determine in the lens you apply to your life, and the lens determines what you notice and how you respond. Mastering self-talk doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice. It's noticing when that old self-sabotaging voice appears and choosing to respond with intention. It's pausing when you say, I'm too tired, and asking, is that a fact or is that an excuse? It's catching yourself when you say, I always mess this up, and reframing it. I've struggled with this before, but I can approach it differently now. This practice builds resilience. It gives you the strength to take action despite fear, doubt, or discomfort. The more you work on reshaping your internal language, the more you start acting like the person you want to become. You no longer wait for external circumstances to dictate your state of mind. You create it from within. You recognize that every thought, every word, every sentence you feed yourself is a vote for the person you're shaping. The person with an unstoppable mindset doesn't have an absence of doubt. They have a dialogue that doesn't tolerate defeat. They have learned that words aren't just words. They are instructions for the brain, commands for the body, blueprints for the future. When you control your self-talk, you take command of your own narrative, and when you own your narrative, you become the architect of your life. Most people sacrifice long-term results for short-term comfort every single day, and then wonder why their life doesn't change. They choose the easy path in the moment, the one that feels better right now, and justify it with a dozen excuses. They skip the workout, they put off making that tough phone call, they stay in a job that's slowly suffocating their ambition because in the moment it feels safer. But over time, those tiny moments of choosing comfort compound into a lifetime of mediocrity. An unstoppable mindset doesn't operate this way. An unstoppable mindset is built by prioritizing long-term gains over short-term feelings. Short-term comfort is a trap. It seduces you into believing that avoidance is a solution, that putting things off will make them disappear, that doing the easiest thing now won't cost you later. But every moment you choose comfort over growth, you teach yourself to settle. You train your brain to seek relief instead of results, to favor feelings over outcomes, and before long, that becomes a pattern. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits, and those habits are shaped by the choices you make when no one is watching. People who build unstoppable mindsets understand that delayed gratification is a superpower. They recognize that doing hard things now creates an easier life later. They understand that every time you lean into discomfort, every time you choose discipline over indulgence, every time you invest effort where others seek an escape, you create a future that is worth living. The person who chooses to save money instead of spend, to practice when others party, to put in one more hour when others call it a day, is creating a version of themselves that can win when it really counts. Prioritizing long-term gains doesn't mean ignoring short-term needs. It means making decisions based on where you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years rather than where you are right now. It means aligning your daily habits with your biggest ambitions. It means accepting that every step you take in the direction of a worthy goal may be accompanied by discomfort, doubt, or resistance, and doing it anyway. It means choosing the hard conversation over the easy silence, the challenging workout over the tempting couch, the deep focus over shallow distraction. This approach doesn't just build results, it builds character. It reshapes the way you see yourself and the way you operate in the world. The person who chooses long-term gains understands that true freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want in the moment. It comes from doing what you must now, so that you can do whatever you want later. It's about making a deal with your future self and honoring it, not for applause, not for recognition, not for external reward, but because deep down you recognize that this is how mastery is built and how legacies are shaped. People fear sacrifice because it feels like loss. What they don't realize is that every moment of discipline is an investment. Every late night working towards a goal, every early morning rising to put in the reps, every decision to delay gratification for a bigger payoff is a deposit in a bank that will one day return compounded interest. The unstoppable mindset doesn't crave instant satisfaction. It craves growth. It craves the quiet pride of knowing you earned the life you're living. It craves the deep sense of belonging to a future self that refused to give in when it was hardest, refused to settle when it was easiest, refused to forget why it started. Most people burn themselves out focusing on things they can't control. They fixate on outcomes, other people's decisions, the state of the world, the behavior of competitors, or the randomness of circumstances. All of this wasted energy leaves them exhausted, distracted, and disempowered. An unstoppable mindset doesn't operate this way. An unstoppable mindset is rooted in knowing the difference between what you can control and what you can't, and choosing to invest every ounce of energy into the things you can. Life is unpredictable. Plans rarely play out exactly as intended. The person who spends their days worrying about things beyond their control becomes a prisoner of circumstance, a passenger in their own life. They give away their focus, their time, and their emotional bandwidth to factors that will never yield to their concern. This is how people stay stuck. This is why so many settle. Not because they aren't capable, but because their attention is fragmented and drained by things that will never obey their wishes. The person who chooses to focus only on what they can control operates from a position of strength. They recognize that while you can't always control what happens, you can always control how you respond. You can control your effort, your habits, your mindset, and your discipline. You can control how you spend your time, how you treat others, how you pick yourself up after a fall, and how you approach the next challenge. These are the levers that matter, and when you master them, the rest of life starts to align. This shift doesn't happen automatically. It requires intention. It means pausing when your instinct is to complain about an external situation and asking, "What can I do right now?" It means noticing when you're spiraling into worry about things you can't affect and redirecting your energy towards a concrete action you can take. It means making peace with the fact that uncertainty is a permanent feature of life, and focusing on the few things you can truly govern within that uncertainty. The person who adopts this mindset becomes a force of nature. Not because external circumstances suddenly obey their commands, but because their internal world becomes unshakable. They understand that outcomes are shaped by countless forces beyond their control, but their habits, their discipline, and their mindset are always within their command. They accept setbacks as part of the path. They accept delays as part of the process. They accept that some doors will close while others open, and through it all, they remain aligned with their purpose, acting in ways that reflect their highest priorities. This approach doesn't make life free from difficulty. It doesn't eliminate pain, struggle, or adversity. What it does is give those moments a different context. The person focusing on what they can control doesn't wait for permission from the world to make progress. They don't wait for ideal conditions to arise. They don't waste days hoping for guarantees of a favorable outcome. They move forward regardless. They measure their success by the quality of their effort and the consistency of their character, knowing that external results will eventually reflect internal mastery. An unstoppable mindset is about reclaiming your power in a world that constantly tries to draw you into its chaos. It's about knowing that every moment of focus you invest in yourself is a seed planted for the future. It's about accepting that life will always have its storms and choosing to be the captain of your own ship. The person who focuses on what they can control doesn't wait for life to give them a chance. They create one, piece by piece, decision by decision, moment by moment. Most people drift through life repeating the same patterns, making the same choices, accepting the same limitations, and expecting a different result. They wait for a sign, a moment, a breakthrough, hoping that one day things will somehow be better. But this isn't how change works. Change doesn't happen to you. It happens because of you. An unstoppable mindset is built on the understanding that you must choose growth every single day regardless of how you feel, regardless of circumstance, regardless of setbacks. Choosing growth means accepting that comfort is the enemy of progress. It means seeking resistance instead of avoiding it, knowing that strength only develops when it's tested. The person who chooses growth doesn't shy away from moments that expose their weaknesses. They step towards those moments, knowing that every challenge contains an opportunity to evolve. They understand that every book read, every skill practiced, every hard conversation had, every workout completed, every risk taken, every one of these acts is a statement about the person they are choosing to become. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's a decision. It's a commitment you make when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when the reward is invisible. It means doing the hard thing when doing the easy thing would be tempting. It means accepting that the person you want to be is built from countless moments where you refused to settle for the person you used to be. It means seeing every decision as a vote for the version of yourself you're trying to create. People fear growth because it demands change, and change demands discomfort. It means letting go of old habits that feel safe, old ways of thinking that feel familiar. It means accepting that the only way to reach higher ground is to leave the comfort of where you stand. But this is the nature of progress. It's never painless, and it's never passive. It's always active, always intentional, always built from moments that test your resolve. Choosing growth every day doesn't mean seeking perfection. It means seeking improvement. It means committing to making one small decision better than you made it yesterday. It means accepting that setbacks will happen, that you will stumble, that you will have days where you don't live up to your own standards, and choosing to rise again regardless. The person with an unstoppable mindset doesn't measure themselves by their worst days, but by their willingness to keep going despite them. Over time, this becomes an identity. You stop seeing growth as a chore and start seeing it as a way of life. You recognize that the process of becoming is worth more than any external reward. You understand that every moment of growth adds a layer of resilience, a depth of character, a measure of strength that no one can take from you. You learn that mastery doesn't arise from a moment of glory, but from countless moments of quiet discipline, countless moments of choosing to evolve when it would be easier to remain the same. Choosing growth every day is choosing to stand apart from the crowd. It is choosing to rise above circumstance, above convenience, above complacency. It is choosing to honor your potential with action, to honor your ambition with effort, to honor your life by living fully and intentionally. It's a promise you make to yourself and a debt you pay every day until you have built the person you were meant to become.